This is a Glass Box Media podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to My Worst Date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina, and today we are joined all the way from New York City, you
Wow.
guys.
No big deal.
I know.
Big deal.
Jesus.
By Billy Procida.
Yes.
He's a stand-up comedian and host of the Manwhore Podcast, and we are delighted to have him here today. So everybody say hello.
Hi, Billy.
Oh, hi.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me over.
Yeah, of course. Have you been having fun in LA since you've been here?
Not really. Dude,
Oh, no.
Your city
Oh,
angers
no.
me so much all the time.
Yes, we
know,
did.
that's relatable content. What was your main complaint? Is it the sheer size of the city?
No, I can handle that. Brooklyn's massive. Like
Mhm.
Brooklyn's like much bigger. People realize. It's dumb things you're all gonna roll your eyes for. Like your exit signs don't have the number until
That's
it's
true.
too late.
Yes.
Okay.
What's
Yeah,
that
I
about?
don't know.
That's a
Yeah.
real West Coast, East Coast thing, I think.
Yeah. No, it's
I
true.
feel that.
Especially like if you're in the downtown area, a nightmare. Like trying to navigate exits downtown, horrifying. So yeah, I hear you on that.
Yeah.
And definitely, of course, the normal things, traffic.
Yeah,
So you
and
had a
too
really bad-
many beautiful people, right? yeah, it's-
Hey, man.
I
LA
mean-
is gorge.
can mess with your self-esteem a little bit.
We were just having that conversation like last week about like, do you feel hotter in Los Angeles or New York? And I was like, I feel way hotter in New York. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
I know you
I
feel
don't.
hotter in LA.
LA, I don't know why. I don't think I'm like hot necessarily, but I just feel like more into myself. I don't
Yeah.
know. I love
It's a
New York
vibe.
as well.
Yeah.
Both are very much a vibe.
Yeah.
I feel more pressure in New York
Really?
to be on, which is weird because I think most people would say the other way around.
Yeah.
I
I
think
feel
you-
more pressure here.
In New York, your personality needs to be on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can look anyway. Like in New York, I feel like a hot piece of ass, like doing OnlyFans. Right? I come here, I'm embarrassed that I have a page.
Oh, wow. Yeah. No,
Uh-huh.
I'm
LA.
like the plumber has an OnlyFans too. Right? Like,
My plumber
Jesus.
does. Oh my God. Yeah. You know him?
I think my city is like, I don't know, like Sioux City, Iowa.
Okay, right. So
I
we-
think that's where I am.
So we did do our lines, right?
Our Venus lines.
My Venus line actually runs directly through Vegas. So, which is funny because I think that then maybe that's probably why I at least feel closer to my Venus line here. Like
Oh, okay.
I feel
Mhm.
closer to it.
Yeah.
Am I a dumb man? But what's a Venus
Uh-huh.
line?
You are not
Oh,
dumb.
you're not
Let-
a dumb
Let
man.
us explain. So your Venus line is when you look at it's like astro cartography or whatever.
That's why I'm
So-
going to start drinking the wine.
So when you look at your chart, like it's based off of your astrological chart, and there are lines that go all around the world, and your Venus line is where you are going to be perceived to be the most attractive to like other people. So like that's where you're going to be the hottest
Okay.
is like if your Venus line goes through a certain city. And of course most of mine are shit, and like my like apex is in the middle of the ocean. So I'm
Yeah.
like, great, fantastic.
Yeah.
But Cassie, of course, she has the best
I
chart in the
did
whole
win.
world.
I did win a little bit of a jackpot.
Mhm.
I mean, like Vegas is a great place to
be hot in.
To be hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also Vancouver, like it cuts up this way, like through
Yeah,
Vancouver.
you got
It's weird.
options.
Yeah.
I do have options. Also Senegal.
Oh, okay.
You know.
I did get Havana, Cuba, so I'm like,
Oh,
okay,
shit, girl,
let's
yes.
go to Havana.
I would
would
be
love
down.
to do a girls trip to Havana.
Do
Feel
I see
really
that for
sexy.
you?
Thank you so
100%.
much.
100%. Wow.
So we got to do your chart next. We'll send it to you. Don't worry about it. I just need the date and time and place you were born.
Okay, I
We'll
can
get you
Your
handle
sorted.
that.
social security number and a
A single drop of blood.
That all seems very reasonable.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Excellent. Excellent. What is your birthday, by the way?
June 5th,
Oh,
June.
Yeah.
Cancer?
Gemini.
Oh,
Mhm.
perfect. I
Yeah.
love that. Gemini is one of those hot take signs. I'll say it. A lot of people are like, they don't. I don't know. Like I always hear like,
No, you're right.
it's one of those hot
Mhm.
take signs.
Yeah.
like people are like they
It's
either
like
love or
Gemini,
hate.
Scorpio.
I love
Yeah.
a Gemini.
Yeah.
but I'm an Aries, so I feel like we
You vibe.
We vibe very well.
Billy
Yeah.
wants to crawl out of his skin
hates
from
this
this conversation.
astrology.
He's like, I did not sign up for this.
I it's like I talk about gangbangs, not word astrological. Well, actually, last night the local play party community I go to, they had a party and it was astrology themed,
Stop.
dubbed Astrolorgy.
Oh,
I love
Wait,
that.
I'm pissed off I didn't get an invite.
Wow.
The way that I would wear like huge like goat horns.
Of
Fucking
course.
A. Are you serious? Yes.
Yeah.
you know people showed up in
Fuck.
goat horns.
And a
love
goat butt plug tail. And,
Oh.
Yes.
absolutely.
There you
Wow.
go.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
There's not a lot you can do
Maram.
with fish. I feel like I'm
For
a Pisces.
You
Kinda-
go
You go as a mermaid.
scaly, some-
yeah,
a
a mermaid.
look.
Oh yeah, that's
totally.
pretty. A lot of
Yeah.
sparkles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People do mermaid looks at the orgies like anyway.
Anyway,
right? It's a
just
good
for
look.
fun.
It's a good
Wow.
costume.
Yeah.
Nice.
Speaking of orgies, we always do on our show, Double Date, we always do it. Would you rather?
I thought you were going to say on our own orgies.
Yes.
This is
Yes.
what we do.
In our
We
orgies,
always do.
in our orgies, we usually do a would you rather. And the would you rather I picked this week for you was, if you were going to a sex party, would you rather
Big if.
when you show up at a sex party, you walk in the door, would you rather be the hottest person in the room, a 10, a fucking standout amongst the crowd, or would you rather be the least attractive person in the room?
Oh, that's interesting.
Right? Because there's a lot to think about here.
Is
Yeah,
there?
'cause then-
I don't think so.
Right. Okay.
The
Because
way-
my
Well, you didn't put-
my first impression when she told me that this was what she was going to do, I was like, why would you want to be the least attractive person in the room? But then she was like, well, because if you're the hottest person in the room, what
That-
does that say about everybody else in the room?
Right?
Mhm.
Oh, we're saying like I am as is.
Right.
Oh, I thought you like meant like I would become hotter.
Yes.
Right.
Oh,
That's what
that's what
I thought
'Cause-
too. And I was like, well,
Because if you're
going to
become hotter,
Yeah.
I would 100% want to be the hottest person in the room. Obviously.
Right. But if you walk in the door
but-
and you're already the hottest person in the room, I don't know. I'm like, I got to see a lot of personality tonight, guys. You better show up.
be cracking some jokes.
You better be funny.
I thought you were gonna attach like weird strings to it, like you could be the hottest person in the room, but your dick won't get hard, right? It was
Oh, dude.
like something like that.
Oh,
but
shit.
in that case, then I treat it like a comedy show, where like if I'm the funniest person on the lineup, that's not a really good show.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
that's
so-
what I'm saying.
So I think I'd rather be least attractive.
Yeah.
Because if
Yeah.
I'm like the least attractive, because if you're unattractive,
That's right.
fine. But if I'm least, now like I'm so unattractive to everybody in comparison to everybody that I actually stand out. And then I
Yeah.
will show up with the personality the hot people don't have.
Well,
That's
yeah,
right.
they,
Still,
they,
yeah.
they don't have. I feel like then they don't have like expectations.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can.
You come in
No,
and
no, they
blow
do
the-
have expectations. They're like, he must eat pussy well because he looks like he has to.
He's going to blow my
Oh,
fucking
no.
back out, ain't he? I knew it.
Yeah.
Oh
Knew
no!
it.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go same. I
Yeah.
feel like
Well-
I'll be the least attractive person in the room. I'll take that hit,
It's going to be so fucking hot in there.
and then I'll just
Girl.
win them over.
No, I gotta disagree. I'm
Okay.
gonna be the hottest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Too many
Excuse
too
me.
hot people. You're just
Yeah.
like, I can't.
Yeah, I'll be the hottest.
Okay.
It's my aloof thing. I'll be the hot person in the corner or whatever. But people just like
Everybody's like,
Yeah.
fucking pillow princess.
yeah,
They're
exactly.
just- they judge you immediately.
Exactly.
Let
and that's
everybody
fine.
spoil you then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want to be
Yeah, that's nice.
spoiled.
You're right.
Fed in.
I feel like if you go in and you're the least hot person, you are doing a lot more work.
Yeah, it
Mm.
sounds like
Yeah.
you have to like work harder,
Okay.
and I'm not about that.
Okay.
So
I don't mind hard work.
yeah,
Yeah.
So are you going with least hot person? too?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm torn, actually. I don't know.
It's hard. Look,
Well, 'cause we talked-
my self-esteem will take a hit. Like I just am. My self-esteem will take a hit if I go in there and I'm the least hot
you
person.
shower in the next.
If you walk in and you're the least hot person in the room,
Where
please call
is this
me.
place?
I
Fucking
was-
call me.
I was gonna say this question is different depending on like how objectively hot like one is, right? It's like we are not the same person.
We're not on the same level. I'm already
There's some space for you to be around people less hot than you, and they're still like hot. Right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So like I
That's
think
right.
it's okay.
That's right.
Like look how you're dressed compared to the rest of us.
Yeah.
Like you're
Wow.
wearing like a lingerie top thing under a
I'm
suit
wearing
jacket.
a I hate
God.
people. So yeah, no.
Oh, man.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
So we have talked about this on the show before. because I really wanted to go to sex clubs here in LA, and I was dating somebody in the poly community out here, and he had been to sex clubs out here in LA. Now, here's where I'm at in LA. I'm like comfortable, like high class poor in LA. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's like, the sex clubs that we would be going to are not what you think. Like, I'm picturing in my head, like, Eyes Wide Shut, like opulent. And he's like, that's not what your income level, like, gives you access to
You can't
out here in
afford
LA.
Sanctum.
Yeah.
So you're not in that tax bracket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering,
Wait, I'm writing this down.
Is that the same kind of thing in New York, where it's like there are levels to the sex club based on like income?
I mean, I only go to one party because it was the first party I went to, and it was like exactly what I wanted.
Okay.
That was 8 years ago, and I found out in like recent years, apparently it's like the cool kid party. I had no idea. Like I was at one of the play parties, and someone was talking about different parties to go to, and someone referenced like, oh yeah, and then finally I found the cool kid club, and I was like, wait a second.
I'm in the cool kid club?
I've never been accused of being cool.
This is amazing.
So like
How did this happen?
I hear about a lot of parties and sex clubs in New York, but I just don't go to a lot of the others because I just like don't need to. But you know, there's some that like charge more than others, but charging more just it doesn't mean it's better.
Okay.
And frankly, if it charges a lot of money, I don't trust it. Imagine a man going to a party and he's like paid for like the $10,000 a year VIP extra fuck off level membership.
Right.
You really think that if he's gonna have to probably do something extra egregious to get kicked out? You think he's gonna get kicked out for like a non-consensual ass grab?
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
There's also a level of entitlement that comes with that.
Oh,
That is a really good point.
So I don't trust that shit. Like the party I go to, everyone pays the same price. Single, couple, man, woman,
I love
envy,
that.
whatever. Like it's kind of very equal footing. But yeah, you know, when you end up in like kind of more cis het spaces or like a swinger space, you're gonna run into a lot more of that type of stuff. And I just don't.
Gotcha.
I don't like that vibe.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either. Yeah, so that's good to know.
Yeah, I feel like that's the same with just like regular clubs too. Like even in like Los Angeles, it's like just because they're more expensive or more like bougie or whatever doesn't mean that they're more fun. It doesn't mean that that's like somewhere you want to go. And in fact, like 9 times out of 10, it's probably like the douchiest place.
Yeah.
And frankly, you know, poor people know how to fuck. Why? We have more free time.
That's true.
We have extra time to figure it out.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be CEO of a company.
Also, too, you're not as worried about looking hot in the act, right? I think there's a little bit of I've even seen it myself. When I was younger and hotter, I was definitely more concerned about the angles that I was giving, the way my ass was in the air, the spray. You know what I'm saying? Like I was much more concerned about the aesthetic of my appearance during the act, and I think that now I'm just like, let's get dirty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's just get it.
I still want to look good. I
you want to look good. But.
In June, I like left a party in terror because like they had a photo booth thing set up, and I was wearing a full body like body stocking. So like kind of, you know, with like whatever you call fishnet, I guess.
Yeah. Sure.
So it's full body stocking. I thought I looked cute. It was like it was a celestial theme.
Oh,
okay.
I love a theme.
I do too.
The way I'm not part of these, I don't know. I
want to go for the theme alone.
There's always a theme.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of themes. I think let's get naked and fuck each other is a good theme. Now I got to buy a hat. What?
Yeah.
You know, it's but.
No, I'm all about the theme.
I'm a theme girl
costume,
myself. Yeah.
The vibe.
See, this is what you do it for.
Yes.
The ladies love a theme.
Oh, God, yeah.
The
Like,
ladies
if
love a
I
theme.
get to wear a masquerade mask for any reason whatsoever, I'm doing it.
Opera gloves.
Yes. Yes, bitch.
And I play into the theme because, like, I think, especially if I'm going solo, I think as a man, if I'm showing, like, I'll put some glitter on. I'll wear a thing.
You put effort in.
It shows effort. It shows, like, you're not so stuck up. You might not this. And it's like, oh, he's more approachable. Than if I showed up in, like, a really nice nightclub suit, you're like, you hang out in different types of circles.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah.
Or, like, there's always one dude who's, like, clearly new and he shows up in khakis and a dress shirt. Always one khaki boy.
He's dressed up like he's about to meet your parents. That's
Exactly.
so cute.
It's like, no, he's gonna meet your polycule and you're all gonna have an orgy together if he act right.
you act right, this could turn out good.
Yeah. A khaki boy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Aw.
So they had in June they had I had like some silver stars like in all the holes of the body stocking, and they had a photo booth set up, and so I went up and like I did my self shot. I was so horrified at how I looked.
Oh, no.
honey.
I was like, I'm not liking the way this curve is looking.
No.
I was like, oh God, I like ran out the fuck. I was like, nope, I'm going home.
See,
Yeah.
I'm having some
that-
ice cream.
That I relate to that so hard in that, like, for me, and I feel like this is very common for women, like having to feel confident and beautiful in your skin in order to be sexual.
Yeah.
Like that's my
Yeah.
vibe behind it.
Yeah,
If I'm
that's-
just the least bit like I'm just not feeling great about myself
Yeah.
today, then the
Mm-mm.
pussy turns off. It's
Immediately.
like,
Yeah.
nope.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that was the conversation when we talked about this before on the podcast. That was the conversation where I was like, I don't think I would thrive in a sex club situation anyway, because I am concerned. Like, I am
Yeah.
concerned about like how I look, like how my body
Yeah,
looks, and people
sure.
looking at me and seeing me from all the angles that you normally would. It's the same reason why I don't want to like see a tape of myself having sex either. Like, I'm like, no, because
Yeah.
in my head it can be whatever, but I
Right.
don't want to like see me
The
in
reality.
4D, yeah,
Yeah.
in 4K, you know.
Yeah.
but that's interesting to hear that guys feel that way too.
Oh,
you know?
yeah. If you look up the body image and eating disorder statistics for men, you'd be very surprised. It's just we don't talk about it. You don't hear guys talk about it as often because we're not socialized to be allowed to feel that way or feel really anything but aggression.
Mhm.
So,
Right.
you just don't hear it, but it doesn't mean it's not happening. I mean, Jesus Christ, wrestlers are like week to week being yelled at like, you're 3 pounds too much, you're 2
Yeah.
pounds too little.
Wow. Yeah.
Like, fuck all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, I've struggled with eating disorder issues, like a lot of my life and my body image stuff. And frankly, I didn't really start feeling like a hot guy until I started doing OnlyFans because there started to become like a dollar amount attached to my body. And I was
Wow.
like,
Oh.
I can hate my body. I made a new deal with myself. I was like, I can hate my body if I want to, okay, but I have to respect it because it's paying bills,
Yeah.
right?
Ah.
Oh, wow.
Well,
That's something.
I think that's what we all have to do. I'm in.
yeah.
Sure, just all use my referral link, please. Thank you. Want to get my cut?
Yeah.
What's that link?
exactly.
Just tell everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I mean, I do think that is always the lesson, right? It's just like somebody is going to think that you are like the hottest thing they've
Mhm.
ever seen. Like,
Right.
it doesn't matter really what you look like, and you can have all of your insecurities. Like, there's going to be someone out there who's like, that person is a fucking 10.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and it is my dream to
Like,
be
there
with
are
that person, you know?
There are way more chicks who are into like either chubby or stocky or just kind of thicker dudes who aren't thick, like muscle thick, just like kind of like I got like big, strong thighs. I got a bit of a donk. Like I'm not like, I don't think I'm not super wide, but like I'm kind of softish. And
That buds in.
if women would fucking post more often the picture of like Seth Rogen and being like, oh, this guy I want to fuck, not because he's funny. Like,
Yeah.
I think more of us dudes would be like, oh, that's also a thing that would be. So, like, I think women right now are like ahead in the, a lot more bodies are starting to become like labeled as beautiful,
Right.
train. And we're
Okay.
kind of still behind where it's, you have to be, typical hot or like funny or rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think that for women, like for me, it's been less about appearance in my dating history, and what I've gone towards has always been personality. But then when I think about my sexuality, it's always like these different fantasies, like who's GGG, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And like that kind of personality, that adventurous spirit is what's always attracted me to a guy. So I don't feel like we have that reciprocity coming back to us females. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I don't feel like guys like, what turns me on? An adventurous spirit. You know what I mean? Like,
But that's the thing. I mean, maybe I'm alone in this. I've never been like really, I don't know, one with the men terribly often.
Right.
But I know I feel this way, and I've heard other men feel this way. It's just, I think dudes, there's still a pressure to like be into who other people are going to think, they think are going to be hot.
Yeah.
So it's
Uh-huh.
like, they still have those desires, but I
Oh.
don't know that we're expressing them because
Absolutely.
we're all
I
still
see.
trapped in
I-
this fucking masculinity cage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people talking about that recently, where it's just like, it's not that they're not interested, it's that they're socialized to be embarrassed for liking something that society tells you that is not the ideal.
Bigger Women's a
Obviously.
great example. Like how many times like have, like I had an ex who's like, she's like a plus size model on Instagram. And she was like, I can't get guys to like, they want to fuck me and they tell me they want to fuck me and they DM me they want to fuck me or they do fuck me, but they don't want to like claim me publicly.
They don't want to
Isn't
go
that
out.
And it's
wild?
not because they're not into her. It's like they're afraid of the embarrassment. But if it was acceptable, which I think it's getting closer and closer to,
You're right.
but if it was acceptable, then why would they be embarrassed and then why would they hide?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, good point. Well, let's talk about your own dating history because
Sure.
obviously we have my worst date. Do you have a worst date?
I mean, it's
Story.
fucking Uber ride I was
Yeah.
just on. Jesus fuck.
Were they really chatty? We were just talking about that.
Look, and this is fine, but like he didn't speak any English, and I didn't know that. So like I didn't have Google Translate on the phone for starters, but he was going 45 to 50 on the freeway.
No.
Everyone's was by the entire time. I'm like, bro, can we go a little faster? I'm just like, sir, do you think we could speed it up a little bit? Here's a speed limit sign. We just passed another 65 sign, and he's going like 45, 50.
Oh, no.
And I don't even realize he's not understanding me.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you just
no.
think
And-
he's ignoring you?
Yeah, or like he's like, I don't care, I'm going slow because I'm old, and I know I'm like running late to see y'all, and so I'm like, and then we get off the exit, and I'm like, sir, he all of a sudden pulls over. I'm like, dude, you gotta,
What
can
are
you
you doing?
go? And then like he just stops and he keeps saying stuff to me I don't understand. I'm showing him the phone where I'm like, we're not there, and
yet.
he keeps saying, I'm
Oh,
like, what?
no.
I'm like, go. I'm doing hand motions.
Really?
He's bringing up the translate app, but it's not loading, so I can see like I hear him speak like Mandarin into the phone, and then like I see it just like constantly
Spinning wheel of death.
no.
so then I'm asking him like, but because I didn't know which at the time, so I was like, Korean, Chinese, Japanese, like what am I looking up? And so now I'm pulling up on my phone something.
Oh, no.
The only thing I just typed in the word faster in Chinese. I showed it to him. He's like, oh, I'm still not gonna. So that's why I was late.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man.
No, I don't know. My worst date, I was probably the worst part of the whatever worst date I was
we've
on.
been there. We've been
Yeah.
there, too.
How many men have you asked that question to and they like went off on some chick? But like if you had his exes on instead, they'd be like, that was my worst date.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. You're the second guy we've had on our double dates. And the other guy we had on, Cam, he also told a story where he was
the worst
date.
Yeah.
So he was like, yeah, it was me.
I mean, he's
you
a
know?
goofy fucker with weird hair now. So like I could, I could see that.
But yeah, we love a self-aware king
Yeah.
over here,
A
Self-aware bear.
self-aware jester at best. Let's-
No, I mean we've been doing the show like we said for almost 5 years now. We get it from both genders.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh.
mean? Like terrible.
I have
terrible
definitely-
dates.
I mean, like I just haven't had a lot of like terrible first. Like my worst first date was just she was on her phone the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Common.
I'm just like, I didn't understand. Like she's kind of talking to me, but with her face down in the phone. She's on Facebook. I guess she says she's like, I'm looking up stuff for us to do. I'm like, we're at the bar.
we're doing
right
the
here.
thing.
Doing things.
We're doing things.
Yeah.
I didn't say, hey, let's go find it's cool that you want to maybe go to a rave or something later.
Right.
I wouldn't have wanted to because that's my scene. But, it's not like before the date. She's like, oh, I'm going to look something up. That was your time to do that if you
Yeah.
want to. But like, fucking
You're
talk
here
to me.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had dates that are like not great, but they're not like terrible. And so, but here's my thing. If I'm on a first date, I'm not feeling it. I can tell 10, 15 minutes in, this ain't happening. I just look at my phone. I look at what like 1 hour and 5 minutes is. And then at that time, I say, hey, having fun. You see, hey, you seem great and all, really cute, whatever. But like, I'm not really feeling this. So I think I'm going to roll out. Or like I
Wow.
go after that
I
drink.
love the
That is so
directness.
direct.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's New York.
Dude, that's
Why would I waste my time? Why I'm going to waste 2 more hours talking to you and
No,
like this isn't
no,
and
interesting?
then
This.
ghost afterwards.
No.
LA is the land of
I love that.
I
Yeah.
do
But you
too.
know my anxieties.
Yeah.
So like, is it fine? Are you okay? Is
Is
it
this
okay?
good?
I'll just sit here.
You don't
I'll
need
just-
his
it's
permission to
okay. I'll
leave.
just sit
You're
here
not
for another
trapped.
2 hours.
No.
Like, it's fine.
The
No.
way though that I have sat in a trapped situation,
Yes,
though,
me
for
too.
sure. But speaking to, we've all confessed our own what we call, shame receipts, which is when we're the bad date. And the thing is that I think I just had like a shame period. I was thinking about this recently and about how kind of awful I was when I was younger, and definitely much better looking
Yeah, I would say
And the
I don't know what all
way-
this
Seven-
like self-hate is about.
no,
Cassie.
I don't dislike myself currently. I'm just saying, like, when you age, you just like you kind of lose some of that like keeping it toitness, and I was keeping it toit then.
Yeah, but I think I'm hotter now because I carry myself with a confidence and a slightly thicker
love
body
it.
now
I love
than
it.
like 10 years ago when like I look at pictures, I go, buddy, why were you so like I thought I was
know.
massive and fat and
All
everything
of us
back
have
then.
Babe.
relatable
Yeah.
snaps on that.
Same.
Yeah,
Right.
relatable
Mhm.
content.
And it was
for
like
sure.
less attractive for me to go around being like so apologetic over something everyone was confused by because
Yeah.
they're like, you look great.
Yeah.
And now, like, yeah, like I'm maybe like 30 pounds heavier than then, but apparently, or maybe just thick as in. I don't know, but I feel
No,
like
it's confidence.
confidence.
It's like that is the thing. We were just having this conversation. Is like confidence is the most attractive.
Oh,
thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally.
You know, like it doesn't really matter what you look like or what's trendy or anything like that. If you are confident in your body and happy with the way you look, which is easier said than done.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
My
no.
confidence
Yeah.
was so peak though.
Yeah.
It was
Mhm.
probably overly peak.
Yeah, mine was the opposite during that time period. Like I would say 17 to 28, you
Mhm.
know, when I was like tiny, a stick, you know, and I had no confidence, none at all in myself, or no ability to speak up for myself, or like people pleaser, 100%. And now I'm like, I hate people.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's
like-
just put it on the table.
and
Yeah.
so I do feel like that goes a long way. It really does.
Mm.
I don't know as far in LA as it does in, and maybe I feel like I have an East Coast spirit.
I feel like we
Yeah.
need to do a girls trip to New York.
Oh,
yeah.
It's feeling like it's about
Definitely.
that time.
yeah.
Yeah.
With
I'm in.
Sex in the City.
Yes.
Jesus.
Oh my
New York.
God. Yes. That'd be so
So-
much fun.
coming out to a hacienda, get your themed costume.
There you go.
Yes. Yes.
Fine.
Yes, yes.
We're in.
Yeah.
We're moving in a new direction, moving forward and moving beyond smoking. We are Altria, and our companies are leading the way in moving adult smokers away from cigarettes by taking action to transition millions toward potentially less harmful choices. As we move from being known as a tobacco company to being recognized as a tobacco harm reduction company, Altria is moving beyond smoking. Find out how at altria.com.
Well, are you currently single? Are you dating right now, or
Currently
what's
single.
the vibe?
Currently single. I've been going through a big, long, slow, drawn out breakup all year.
Oh.
I have only been kind of like released from it, from the hopes of reconciliation. Yeah, I only
Yeah.
got released from that like 3-4 weeks ago.
Oh,
so
wow.
honey.
I feel lighter now, but most of this year has been me like kind of holding my breath, waiting for is this like waiting for her to kind of decide.
Yeah.
And it was like a really long 6-7 months of that, and it was so weird because then the next morning, like after we had this phone call last month, like I woke up and I was like not happy about the outcome, but I fucking felt lighter.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I was like, I can be sad. Like, it didn't feel like, before it felt like all this year felt like someone was like wrapped around my heart and then someone was like yanking down real
Yeah.
fucking hard on it. And I was
Yeah.
dragged. And this time was like, I am just sad now. So
Yeah.
I am now, I'm not romantically available, but I am out there. I'm dating. I have lovers. I mean, you know, I normally have that. I'm non-monogamous. So,
Right.
but in terms of like the love stuff, the dating stuff,
Yeah.
that is we're gonna wait till I feel confident. I would hate to like think I'm in love with someone and say that, but I'm
Yeah.
not. Or like, am I in love with this person now? Or like, do I just miss being in love with somebody? Like,
Oh,
That is
wow, that's
so
healthy.
aware and healthy and responsible.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we've had so many stories of people who have jumped back into the dating scene when they weren't ready.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's that whole like, best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody. And like, so people will just get
Right.
out there and start dating.
And
But
I mean, that is great. Yeah,
Sure.
go get your fuck on.
Yeah,
Go
the
get your
fuck on.
It's
yeah.
not
But-
they're not synonymous.
just don't
synonymous.
do it
Correct.
with people who are looking for
For a
relationships.
relationship.
Because
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
do that all the time. They'll get on Tinder and be like, I'm looking for a relationship, and they're obviously not ready to be back on the dating scene. Like
Yeah.
it's fresh. They broke up with someone like a week ago and they're not like romantically available to someone else. And then it's hurtful to that other person that you've brought into that.
Case in point, my recent ex, like I met her a week after she left her husband, who she'd been with for 12 years.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
a
Oops.
week?
You know, a week after.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She was fresh. She was
But,
too
you know,
fresh.
we dated for like a year and a half ish,
Yeah.
off and on. So, you know, it was what it was. Like I have a couple lovers right now who like I could tell would want something that looks more romantic, but I just also here's the thing, like when I'm not being romantic with you, it doesn't mean I'm not like it doesn't mean I'm not emotionally unavailable. Because I like to like the people I fuck. I like to have bonds and chemistry and care and concern and like maybe a platonic love for lovers who are in my life for longer.
Right.
But like I just know like I'm not ready for like that to do something committed where I can prioritize you and where I feel like I'm in a place to do all that. So I just like make sure that's known. So like someone I hooked up with recently, who like there's definitely chemistry. If I had met her at a different time, I would maybe pursue that romantically a little faster. But I just like made it know, like, hey, look, here's where I'm at.
Yeah.
And now we're like, she's like, oh, gosh, I'm like so fond of you. And I'm like, I am fond of you too.
Yeah.
But the problem and the reason I'm always so nervous is because when I am casual with someone, I'm kind of still very boyfriendy. Like I'm emotional, I cuddle, I check in on you. I do the bare minimum nice things, and they think that's like, oh my god,
because the
Because
bar
it
is in
is.
hell.
The bar
it's
is
so low.
I trip over it every day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But you know, it's just like I just try to make sure everyone understands what's going on, and you know, and that it's like, hey, I'm not gonna be a dickhead to you. I'm not gonna be emotionally closed off. I just don't want you to confuse me being emotionally available with like a relationship escalator, which I can't get on right now.
Well, how did you find non-monogamy? Like how did that journey begin for you?
When I was my freshman year of college, I was dating someone, and it was weird. You know, I met her the summer before freshman year. She was from my hometown area. She was going to go to Tufts. I was going to go to NYU, and we started dating. And like I was her first. You know, like I took her virginity. She was like my second. We had said I love yous. Like I'm coming inside her. We are going on dates. Except when we wanted to be able to kind of hook up with some other people because I was definitely we were both I was very brand new to like being sexual.
Well, yeah, and you're both like 18.
Yeah.
It's like
babies.
Yeah, but like she was like a hot chick in high school. Like she dated people and like she'd given some hand jobs. I was like very fresh to like confidence and women being interested in me. So it's like, okay, well, like we won't fuck other people, but we'll fool around with others. But we're not boyfriend, girlfriend because we're not serious because sometimes we're going to make out with other people on our respective campuses.
Okay.
There you
So I
go.
thought it was so weird because like, why is the sexual fidelity the threshold of like, we're serious? I'm saying I love you. We love each other. We're having sex. We're having sex without condoms. Like we talk every day. We travel to see each other. Like for all intents and purposes, we were boyfriend, girlfriend.
Right.
But the sexual fidelity is what was apparently the deal breaker. So the thing that separated it. And then eventually, like we decided to be monogamous, long distance, and that's when we're boyfriend, girlfriend. It just seemed like that doesn't seem like the most important element of a relationship.
For sure.
But whatever. It's not. I don't even have language for it. I was like, At some point, I remember reading the New York Post, and like in the back of the paper, there was this like small square piece, and maybe it was like 100 to 200 words, very small, just small square box. Maybe it was about like a study or a book or something because it had polyamory in bold and it said briefly what poly was.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then again, it just stayed in the back of my head for years. And then, you know, that relationship ended when, you know, sophomore year, because we wanted to do our own thing, whatever. I don't have language for any of this. I just know like, oh, there's this thing in the back of my head that makes a lot more sense than what everyone else is doing. Summer before senior year, I met this woman at a bar. She was in her late 30s. She used to be a swinger with her husband. She seemed like healthy and normal and whatever. And that was the first time I met someone like in the wild who did this thing. And they're not like, And I was like, oh, so this is like realistic. So that was like mind blowing for me because it was like, this is something real people do.
Yeah.
Okay. And then again, it stays in the back of the head. And then by the time I graduated, like I finally got my hands on the ethical slut. And I had, for the first time, I got some validation because I had like language to describe what I had already been feeling. I started listening to Dan Savage. And it's
love
like
Dan Savage.
I'm a Dan disciple, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
And just so for me, it was more like I already felt that way and I didn't realize it. Like when I was with that woman freshman year, we went to go see Definitely Maybe in the theaters.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all know this one?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Great. I always say this. Everyone's like, oh, which one? With Derek Luke? No. What?
Who?
No,
It's
it's
Baby
Ryan-
Abigail Breslin.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's come on. Baby
Ryan
Breslin.
Reynolds,
Ryan
right? Yeah.
Reynolds. My love of my life. And so like in that movie, he has 3 women he's very clearly in love with, and they come in and out of, his life, but they kind of overlap a little bit as like there's like the handoff, so to speak. And people come in and out and back in. And so in the cab ride back to her dorm, I said, that was really interesting. It's almost as if you can love more than one person over the course of your life, why can't those times overlap?
Mhm.
And she lost her
Oh,
shit.
Yeah.
she was not prepared for that.
You know?
I wasn't proposing anything. I just was like, oh,
That's
this
an
is like,
interesting idea.
yeah, I'm like
Mhm.
conceptually discussing
How
the concept
old were
of love.
you when you were? So that freshman year.
She was 19, I was 18,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I lost my shit about some dumb shit when I was 18 too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Equally.
for sure.
I thought we were going to break up in the cab.
Yeah.
She's like crying. And I just said, like, this was a thing about the movie. And she's in tears. And the cab guy must have been like, fucking kids,
I once
God.
started a fight with my boyfriend whenever I was 19 because he said Katy Perry was hot.
Oh,
See that? Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
Because she is.
The
I'm
way.
like-
Objectively, yes, of course. But I
So
was
that's
like,
your type?
so you think she's hotter than
So,
me?
I'm sorry,
She
is that
doesn't look
your
anything
type?
like me. Really?
The way. I've had that exact conversation with
we
a
all
human
know
being
about
before.
the Ashley Judd poster.
Listen,
Girls.
it's true though.
Yeah,
There
no,
is
it's
that
true.
like
It's ridiculous.
irresponsible or not irresponsible, irrational
Yes.
place in your brain that you go to that's like immediately is like, oh, you don't love me. That, and then also too, we've been fed this idea of what love looks
Right.
like
Yeah.
for
Right.
so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah. All
And
the
If it's not
movies.
the I don't see anybody but you,
Yeah.
rosy-eyed kind of love, then it's not love.
Well,
then
then
it's
that's
not
not love.
romance,
That's
and it's
right.
not, which is so not true. And the older you get, especially, like you see that it's
Yeah.
very clearly not true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that there's still a long way to go for media or for there to be any kind of mainstream acceptance for non-monogamy or polyamory, that kind of thing. I still think it's not really portrayed. But I've talked about it on the podcast before. One of my main relationships that I had when I was going through my divorce, which I credit for really rebuilding my self-esteem, was with somebody who was poly.
Yeah.
And it was perfect for me because it's like, I don't want to let anybody in. And so you can only go so far because you're already in a committed marriage, like with a kid and that sort of thing. And so there's a definite line. And so I felt safe and I felt like I could explore and it was life-changing. So it's nice to be able to talk with somebody that's open and out there in that space.
Yeah. Like I really just don't even really know monogamy. Like I
Mhm.
did it with that woman freshman year and like I never did it again.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of the only thing I know.
Oh, right on.
But then again, I also couldn't get a girlfriend after freshman year. The reason I started my podcast was because I was like, I was disgruntled because women would sleep with me, but they wouldn't date me. And I wanted to find out why. Because like I wanted romance and cuddles and I love yous
Right.
and fun sex. And so like, I'm the type, poly guy where I go like, I mean, I've never had more than one girlfriend at once because I'm so focused on getting one to stick around for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Let's be good with one girlfriend before I try to have like 5.
Right.
You know?
How are those conversations with your exes? Are they constructive? Do you feel like they're helpful?
Sometimes.
Wow, this is a very therapy question.
Yeah.
I like where this is going.
Well, I'm like, I've thought about it because
Yeah.
I've pretty much avoided mine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, whatever. But yeah,
Meanwhile, like
I
I'm
just-
turning them into content.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I would love to do that. I would love to. Like every time I watch those videos, because they'll have those videos where it's like we dated for 5 years, we haven't seen each other in 3 years, and they're being reunited, and they're getting to like have those like talks and ask
Oh, I
those
know.
questions and stuff like that. And I actually think that it could be really beneficial, especially depending on how things ended, because I feel like our culture trains us so much to like hate your ex.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like to hate your exes and write them off and block them and never
Right.
see them again. And the truth is that most of the time there was a reason why you were with that person and like you loved them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so
But you're
shouldn't have to
also,
be like
in
that.
order to have a conversation like that, you're also relying on maybe that person having done some sort of self-reflection and
Sure.
growth, which is
Or being super narcissistic that they're like, yeah, I'll get on a microphone.
Exactly.
Or that.
Yes, or they just want to give you a piece of their mind
Yeah.
because
Right.
they're like, I did nothing wrong.
I mean, I
so
used to do
let's
live
talk.
Glad you're
shows
coming
with like 3 or 4 exes on stage with me at
Oh.
once.
Oh,
Honey.
Wow.
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 That's amazing.
Yeah, sometimes I can glean some stuff. If it was a more serious relationship, there's
Mhm.
definitely more like emotional meat on the bone. And sometimes it's just more like, oh, I had feelings I would have wanted this to progress. You wanted it to stay casual or went off in a different direction.
Right.
And like, maybe I can get some clarity of like, what happened? Why? Like recently I had my friend Lucy Moon on and it was like, why did we stop fucking? Like it kind of, we stayed friends. We still saw each other and talked a lot. She lives in a different city. She lives in Philly.
That's
but like,
probably the biggest reason why you're not fucking him as much.
Geographically
no, because like
undesirable.
I drove. Like she'd be like, hey, want to smoke and fuck around today? It was like, okay, cool. And I would just drive to Philly
It's
because
not that far. How
It's
far
not
is
that
it?
far, yeah.
hour and a half, 2 hour drive. It's not bad,
okay,
right? So
yeah.
to get to the Bronx is an hour.
That's
So-
just trying to
That's-
get downtown in LA on a Friday night.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's like, oh, so it's not like, oh, we just like randomly stopped hooking up. The friendship continued. So I got to like get some clarity, right?
Yeah.
But then sometimes I hear some tough shit. I had this chick, I think we call her Dove. I had her on where we briefly dated. There was a little bit of a lapse. And then we hooked up one or two more times. And the first time after that lapse of seeing each other, she came over to my place and, we fooled around. She came over. When I had her on the podcast, she described that moment of when I opened the door after not seeing me for several months.
Mm-hmm.
She said on a microphone to my face, she said, yeah, when you opened the door, I thought, oh, Billy got fat.
Oh, damn.
Oh.
And then I still had to keep speaking to her.
I'd be like,
I was like, I have to get an hour of content here, so I have to sit through this.
Yeah, you're just
Like,
like one
wow.
of those goats that faints. And you're just like, well, interview over now.
wow.
Wow.
I'm gonna do a reverse Gallagher. It's like I'm gonna
No.
kick you off early.
My
Oh, wow.
self-esteem.
Yeah,
Woof.
yeah.
Couldn't handle it.
So
Wow.
sometimes that happens.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're like, maybe you don't want to sit down with your ex.
Yeah, no, right.
I would say do it at your own peril.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Be ready for some hard truths.
I have
Yeah.
no exes that I'm interested in
Really?
bringing.
Yeah.
No, because honestly, we talked about this
Yeah.
when I was on your podcast. Like my first ex, he's a wonderful guy, like in a great, happy relationship. And I think generally we'd just be like, oh, I'm so happy for you. Oh, I'm really happy for you.
Yeah.
It'd be the most boring content you've ever heard in your life.
But that's why you have to push. You have to push to the like what was going on back then between y'all.
Yeah.
These were also
And
What
tap
did
into
you
that.
hate
we were
about
babies.
me?
We were babies, and we did have that kind of conversation. I think probably a couple years after we graduated, he'd stopped by my house and we had this conversation about like why he broke up with me. He was my first love, right? And the fact that it was like brought on by a teacher who was like, she really hangs out with the wrong crowd, and you're like Mr. Valedictorian. Do you think this is a good look for you? That's why he broke up with me.
Wow.
So we're just, like, and I can't, like, he's a child, he's a kid.
Yeah,
I was a kid.
you're
We were kids
in
We're
high school. Yeah.
The fact that you were influenced by that, I can't blame him for it. Like that's where you're at in that time. Like your whole world is wrapped up in high school shit.
Yeah.
So we kind of had that moment. If who knows where you'd be, you can't speculate if those things didn't pop in or whatever. So
No.
I guess, you know me. I just want everything wrapped. I just want everyone to be okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want everybody to be like happy.
the
I want
Hallmark movie.
yeah.
I want us to be okay, like living our separate lives now. But I don't like the idea that I'm the villain in somebody's story, and I
And-
just can't control that. Like,
can't.
Mhm.
I just am going to be, and there's just nothing that like I can do about it. But I
Yeah.
hate it.
There's
If I could fix
there's
it, I
villains in your story who feel the
Yes.
same way, and we often
Right.
just let go of this idea of like, I just want everything to be okay with everybody who
Mhm.
wasn't egregious. Like, no, just sometimes it's gonna.
Right.
It's serenity prayer stuff.
It's a bad match sometimes too.
Yeah.
It's just like
Truly.
different life goals, different visions of what love is supposed to be. Like,
bad timing.
Yeah.
Like if I had met my most recent ex, 3 months later, maybe she
Yeah.
gets back from Greece, and then we matched on Tinder and had that beautiful coffee date where I walked away being like, I'm in big trouble. But like
Yeah.
maybe it could have been different, but
Mhm.
that
Shoulda, woulda,
shit
coulda.
happens.
all that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We recently just talked about too, like, what would you do if your ex called you? Like we had that kind of conversation. Like, what if out of the blue, your ex reached out to you? But I think there's something to be said about that. There is something to be said about wrong place, wrong time.
Mm.
And there, I truly believe people can grow. I think that there is,
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of people who are like, nope, people never will change. You're never going to change.
It's just not
I've
true.
changed. I can see the changes I've
Mhm.
personally experienced. I've seen people change. I know that people can change.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's, you don't know what 3 years up the road or, and you can't change the past. You can only control where you're at right now.
Mhm.
So it's just a matter of going with the flow, getting in the groove and just riding the wave,
Yeah.
But one of the things I want to ask you,
Huh?
because I
Yeah.
have a feeling you don't have a bunch of these, but do you have, what are like red flags for you? Like when you're like talking to someone, you've seen somebody, you've been on a date, you're like hour in, you're like, that's plenty. What are the things that like, you're
we're
like,
done.
no, that ain't going to happen. This ain't going to work out.
Well, I mean, I'll kind of lift a line from definitely maybe. I'll say like, I have a thing for people who have a thing for me.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
So if I can't tell you're interested,
Right.
like whether that's some sort of what are the pickup artists called? I think they call it like point of contact or something.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Right? If I don't have some sort of like, there's some sort of a physical touch or a verbal compliment of some sort of like me, or maybe that moment where like no one's saying anything and we're kind of making eye contact, kind of looking down, kind of giggling from it's like
Yeah.
we both take a drink real quick and be like, and then someone tries to find like those little moments.
Yeah.
When I need to be able to feel the chemistry, or I need to know you're interested. There was this beautiful woman, super interesting, very successful documentarian, is
Wow.
working on like a big audio documentary about bees, but like what that means, like exist. I don't know.
I love
Hold on.
it.
She's
I'm
super interesting.
interested,
She's
yeah.
total babe. She like
Mhm.
wears dark lipstick really well.
Oh,
You
Love
know,
that.
that's an energy for
that's-
sure.
It's an
yeah.
energy. It's great, and we have aligned interests and everything. The conversation is like, it's like I'm interested. I'm just waiting to see some sort of a marker that you're also interested. Because if I don't think you're interested this whole date, I feel like I'm bombing on stage.
Right.
It's like an audience that's just like that. Like,
You're not
They're
getting my type 5? I don't.
Yeah.
well, it's like they're smiling instead of laughing,
joke.
or they're like nodding, like that's a good joke instead of laughing.
Right.
So I don't know I'm doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if I just need to know you're having a good time and that you are somewhat interested
Mm-hmm.
currently.
You need that
Okay.
energy to feed off of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that totally. Because
That's
otherwise,
one.
it just kind of feels like they're waiting for the next thing. Like
Yeah.
they're waiting for someone who does make them laugh.
I spent 6
like that.
hours on that date with that woman. We closed down the bar and then like I walked her like it was cold out. I didn't realize I offered to walk her that far. I didn't realize she likes walks. I was not dressed appropriately. But like we spent like 6 hours together. I think it took like 4.5 to 5 hours in where I guess we were talking about like types or something. And I kind of made mention like basically because she's still there, right? So I have to take her presence as, look, you stay maybe 2 hours because like for the reasons you've described
Right.
before. You don't stay 6 hours because
Right.
you're not interested.
No.
So,
No, not 6
You
hours.
are having
You're making an
a
excuse.
good time.
right, but I can't
Right.
tell. So at some point I kind of was like, I forget it was relevant to whatever we were talking about, but I kind of let loose, like I let her know like I'm having a great time. I think you're gorgeous. And sometimes I can't tell if someone's interested. And I
Sure.
said the same things. I say like some kind of a touch or a thing. And you know what? She picked up on that and then gave a compliment and said like, I think you're really cute.
Oh,
and at some
there
point
you
like,
go.
gave me like a thigh touch.
There you go. Yeah, sometimes people just like their way of communicating affection is just different.
Very
Yeah.
true.
And sometimes
Very
they
true.
do need to be told, like, this is what I need.
Yeah,
from
at
you.
least
Yeah.
in an initial encounter,
Mhm.
right? Because like I could just think you're being polite.
Yeah.
So that's one is I need
Well,
to know
6
you're
hours
interested.
is stretching the limits
That's
of
a-
politeness.
Truly, I mean,
That's why like 4 or 5 minutes, like because
Yeah.
like I'm gonna go home if you're not interested. I'm gonna just basically gonna try to
I'm gonna let you
drag this
go.
out of you and be like, what's happening? Should I
Like,
stay or should I go
yeah,
home?
I could be
No.
at home watching Game of Thrones in my pajamas right
Right.
now. What are we
Yeah.
doing? Yeah.
So that's one. For me personally, some red flags when I know I'm not going to be interested is like if I hear they don't have like empathy for oppressed groups. Like I like people to have some
Yes.
aligned moralities.
Worldview.
yeah,
you
Yeah,
know,
definitely.
Yeah.
Politics is definitely different. I have more space to be a little further apart on politics, but I just don't view like equal rights as politics. I view that
That's
as
right.
like morality, right? So
Right.
we have to have aligned morals. So I sometimes will listen to some things like I'm fiscally conservative, but I'm socially liberal.
You're
But like
like,
I won't.
What does that mean?
It means that the socially liberal part is not as important as me paying less taxes.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can have
That's
equal
like-
rights if it doesn't cost me anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Oof.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's
That's a no.
So I'm gonna look out for that, and also just like kind of things like eye contact, like the chick who when I was at that bar who's just like kind of on her phone a lot. I'm just like,
Yeah,
lady,
you're not
I'm right
engaged.
fucking here. So I'm like, I don't need to be here either. Like, I'm not desperate for pussy. I know
Right.
sometimes, depending how I'm dressed, I might look like I am, but
You're like, I promise you.
I promise you.
I don't have to be here.
Yeah.
So, and you don't have to be here. Like, we don't have to be on this.
There's so many other things to be doing.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And then I would say complaining, but like not funny.
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
Keep it positive or be fucking funny. And
Mhm.
honestly, most
I
people
love
not
that.
funny.
Yeah, that's
So-
true.
Because I am not positive, but I do like to think that I'm funny.
It's something I've actually like consciously been like trying to do less. Like I'm like less complaining.
A show you like, not a show you hate.
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
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 So those are some
Yeah.
things I look out for. But again, like
That's
if I
great.
feel chemistry and I think you're interested and I am still interested, it's like I'm probably gonna want to make out with you.
Yeah.
You're like at the very least.
Why
At the
not?
very least.
Yeah.
I love making out.
Get into
Very
it.
underrated.
Yes, it is.
It is.
I did more dry humping when dating, and I'm like, when like casually dating, then I'm just like, I think everyone should dry hump,
You're like
even in
underrated.
relationships. Yeah,
Yeah.
dry humping is awesome.
I'm hooking up
Not
with
just for teenagers.
It's not just for teenagers.
Hashtag not
anymore.
just dry humping, not just for teenagers.
the whole
Incredible.
campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
bring
make
that
a
back.
shirt.
It's that and finger banging.
Oh yeah,
Two things
Not
Are they-
underrated,
are they
not
not-
just for teenagers.
Wait, who's not finger banging?
No,
I think
mean,
if you're in a relationship for a long time, finger banging goes out the window.
correct,
Yeah.
somewhat.
and that is
Mm.
something
Yeah.
that needs
Somewhat.
to be a top three.
Yeah.
I will
contender.
say it's not something that went away in my relationship, but
Yeah,
I will
that's
say that
good.
it is something that
No,
most people.
it is now
For
something
most
that
people.
is like
In
a
your-
top. Yeah,
Yeah, if-
exactly.
if that's a
because
thing
when
that-
I was
yeah.
dating and stuff, I was like, oh yeah, finger banging is awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
Our-
why did this go away?
Our poor producer is just like he's like I'm not
I'm not listening
I
to
can't. He's absolutely like checked out. He's like I
No,
cannot.
no, absolutely.
Producer, you finger bang?
No. Leave him alone. We just met him today.
poor
Oh, this
Sorry,
poor guy.
I thought there was a more established
No.
relationship.
I don't even remember his name. I'm not gonna lie. I
He's
feel
going.
bad.
He's going to HR immediately, if not
Yeah.
sooner.
He's like I can't deal with this.
I didn't sign up for
Wow.
this actually.
Fingering is great because, like, you know, look, my dick's off. Like, oh, great, I've got the. I today, like, while I was here in LA, like, I had like a itchy thing, and then like I kind of opened up my
Dry
pinky and my
skin.
and my thumb, and then I thought,
Yeah.
like, well, like I got the important fingers are okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm a-
Unaffected.
I'm a lefty,
They're
so
unaffected.
Oh,
yeah,
there you
it's
go.
if
fine.
something
Not
happens to
worry.
these, I get very
You're fucked.
concerned. Like,
Yeah.
if one of these gets fucked, I have
I
to be
get
like,
very concerned.
I have to remember to be like, okay, it's these two, or no, we're doing these two this time, right?
okay.
Like,
That's funny.
my hands get like weird, fucked up shit sometimes.
No,
Yeah.
but a makeout session,
Ah,
you can't
Hot and heavy?
beat it.
Hot and heavy.
like a hand behind the head.
Yes,
Oh.
like a heavy,
Grabbing.
heavy petting.
Yes.
if you were.
okay,
Yeah,
sure.
is underrated. It
Yeah.
really
Absolutely.
is
So
underrated.
uncomfortable right now.
People talk so much about like actual like intercourse and sex,
Yeah.
but they don't talk enough
yeah.
about all the other stuff.
That's
Ah.
right.
I got
Yeah.
a chick I'm sleeping with right now, like this, like a newer lover in my life who she doesn't give blowjobs.
Mm.
She's not anti getting oral, but it doesn't do
It's
it
not
for
her
her as
thing.
much. Well, her clit apparently requires like a downstroke,
Mhm.
which is a less
Oh.
natural
Hmm.
motion, at least with a tongue, right?
Okay.
So
Interesting.
she likes
Not in the
she-
69 position. It doesn't.
Sure, but again, she doesn't want that
Thinking
dick in her
creatively.
face.
Oh yeah, got it.
So she likes so the fingering's good, and then we can fuck. So like, and she loves giving hand jobs.
Mm.
Oh,
She
okay.
loves to see a guy writhe in pleasure.
Oh.
I'm a writher,
Oh,
so
okay.
so sometimes we've just done like an hour of like on and off hand job, me jerking off or her jerking me off, right?
yeah.
And then sometimes we like have had sessions where we're having like some foreplay and fucking, but
Yeah.
just it doesn't always have to end with the fucking. It's not the only
Yeah.
thing. That's not the only way we're gonna come. We
Yeah.
also don't even have to come. It's just like let's just have a session of feeling
Masturbating
good.
in front of each other is underrated.
We did that session a little bit. Like she
Mhm.
jerked off a bit, I jerked off a bit. It was really fucking hot. Like you have your
It is a little
thighs
bit
kind of
hot.
interlocked.
oh,
Very
that's hot.
underrated. Like let's just focus on having a good time and like this into here is not the only way we're gonna like
Of course.
get off.
I gotta be honest. I think that I've ignored my hand job game.
Mm. I will say that too.
because I can palm a basketball. I think I have very large hands.
Oh, yes. Look at that.
So
I mean, you could definitely palm a WNBA ball. Yeah.
I'm not getting a lot of
Please
dong
don't
sizes.
do it like that.
that-
Like
That's not how you do it.
Most of the time,
very
it's
aggressive.
This is, you're squeezing really hard.
so I'm like, I feel like I
Softer.
need to.
Like, practice.
It goes softer.
Gentle.
Yeah.
Look at it. I'm like Shaq over here.
Softer.
Charles,
Softer. And a
Charles
little-
Barkley.
And a little
Oh,
a
man.
wrist adds the softness. See,
Okay.
this versus this.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you got to
Yeah.
get the wrist motion.
I'm a mouth game.
I mean, no one's mad at the
Yeah,
mouth
I like
game.
I like a double.
I love a blowy.
God bless you.
I am great at them. So
Yeah,
I think that
me too. That's where
I've
I'm
put
at.
all my eggs in that basket, and I'm like,
I like a combo. Though.
Yeah,
to me,
I
it's
combo.
a combo.
Yeah.
for sure.
A combo is you have to do that.
Well,
No,
it's a
yeah.
combo.
Not every
Yeah.
chick will. I sometimes have to say, like, hey, throw a hand on it. You know, like,
Yeah.
Throw a hand on it.
You know, we've discussed previously. I am not free with my mouth. I require you are. I require.
I want to see you
Well,
come out of the shower.
I need you to
the
be clean.
Stories
Like,
we've had
That's
recently,
true.
that
I can't.
TikTok
I
that we
just-
saw
I can't. I just
with the
I
shitty
don't-
manties.
Oh.
I don't. If I don't know you yet, once I know you, fine, like whatever.
Yeah.
But like if I don't know you,
Yeah,
I don't know what your habits are. I don't know how often you shower. The number of people who
I
I've
wanna
now heard
watch
are
you
like,
walk
"Oh, I
out
only
of the
shower
shower."
once a month." I'm like, absolutely
And-
not putting my mouth on
that's
it.
a Cali thing, I think.
Not
That's
putting
a
my
thing at
mouth
West
on it.
Coast.
Like it's
But just reach out, get like a hand of the balls, and then you come up, you
Do
give
a
a sniff. Yeah, that's an easy thing.
Okay. Well, on that note,
gonna do a subtle sniff.
No, I've legit had women ask me to take a shower. Like,
Yeah.
for example, like someone wanted to eat my ass. She was like, "Can I eat your ass?" I was like, "Absolutely."
into it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Cool, like let's just take a quick shower." And like I
Yes.
jumped
Love
in
that.
for 2 minutes, gave a little and dried off, and then I had that for like a
Yes.
half hour. It was
Nice.
Don't be
Wonderful.
afraid of asking someone to take a shower. And if you're listening, someone asks you to take a shower,
do
be
it.
fucking
Take a fucking
chill.
shower.
Yes,
Don't
be
get
chill
butthurt.
about it. If you're,
Yeah.
are you gonna get like weird about it? Like, don't
Yeah.
get weird about it. Someone is offering to put their mouth
On
on
your
you. Okay,
Booty hole.
take
Yeah.
a
Get it.
shower.
Mhm.
Take a shower.
So many people want to take feedback, like constructive criticism or a little like requests, as like be defensive. Like you're saying something
Oh,
about me.
100.
As opposed to like this person is asking for what they want or need so they can have a fun sexual time with
With you.
And you should want them to have a
Yes.
fun sexual time with
Yeah.
you. So you
Yeah.
want to do the thing that
Speaking
makes
truths.
everybody happy.
Yes. I mean, and even for myself, like I want to feel like good. I don't want anybody going down there if I feel less
Oh,
than
no,
fresh.
exactly.
either.
No.
Like I
I'm-
want to be like I want it to
So
be a
fresh
good
and so
time
clean.
for everyone involved. I
Yeah.
don't want to be self-conscious about like myself either. So I'm just like, hey, look, just everybody please shower. Is
Yeah, showering is a
Yeah.
definitely, but like don't be so
weird.
don't get so defensive when someone's asking
Yeah.
for what they need. Because like if they didn't want to fuck you, they'd ask you to leave. They're just saying,
Right.
can you rinse or
Yes.
can you go a little to the left or can you throw a hand on it?
I
Right?
love this
Yeah.
conversation.
Oh man,
Yes.
Yeah.
God. I am so fucking glad to have you on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Honestly, everybody needs to check out Manwhore Podcast.
Mhm.
You
Yes.
have been an amazing guest. It's
Mhm.
been such a wonderful experience to have this really open sex conversation with you. Where can people find you? Where can they follow you?
Mm.
We want to know
Mhm.
everything.
Sure. Again, the Manwhore Podcast, wherever you listen to audio, wherever you listen to My Worst Date, you can listen to the Manwhore Podcast. That's Manwhore, one word. Didn't know I need to spell that one.
Yeah.
But apparently, man, space whore, can't find me.
Oh,
That's
good.
bizarre.
Good
It's like
looking
now-
out.
I got to work on that SEO.
Mm.
Billy Procida, I got links in my show notes on stuff. I will say, if you are seeking like a sex positive community, like internet space with like-minded people to talk about whether it's non-monogamy, kink, sexuality, queerness, whatever, I have a Discord server
Oh,
that
wonderful.
is free and it's wonderful. It's got hundreds and hundreds of
I love this.
sex positive people. It's called the Champagne Room. And if you want to, you don't even have to listen to my podcast. I got people in there. They're like, my friends invited me in
Go
here.
to the champagne
Yeah.
room.
Yeah.
Come on in. And to get in the Champagne Room, all you got to do is go to manwhorepod.com/Discord.
Oh,
Perfect.
okay.
Come on in. It's a fun time. We got channels about sexuality, but we also got channels about like gaming and movies and,
Love it.
crafts. But we also have like, sex toy recommendations.
I love this.
Excellent.
Manwhorepod.com/Discord and Manwhore Podcast, wherever you listen to audio. You'll find my socials. You can find that easy.
Great.
Amazing.
Well,
And next time we're in New York, we'll definitely we'll call you
Hacienda.
up. You can take us out.
Yeah.
100. I'm bringing my goat horns.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Oh, I want to ring ram horns then.
Yes.
And, you bring your fish
Scales.
Well, thank you so much again.
Thanks for having me.
And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, well, we love you guys so much.
Do you all have like a catchphrase thing you do at the end?
We do. I'm
do.
looking. I'm like,
Cheers.
are we doing it? Do you want to cheers
Cheers.
with us?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
We love you so much.
cheers.
Cheers.